Hello, welcome to Inner Growth. This is Wendy Rodriguez, and welcome to my healing journey. I am super excited to get started and to speak on a numerous amount of hard topics and share my self-reflection throughout all the adversity I've faced. My intention is to create a community of like-minded people that empower one another to know their greatness and to discover their true strength and identity in this world. I am so grateful to have all of you watching and hungry for change. Thank you for your time. And remember, being free is exactly who you are meant to be. Many blessings. Hi everyone, welcome to Inner Growth. Healing is a journey. I'm Wendy Rodriguez. And I want to talk about your inner child. So when I say inner child, it's honestly the little baby or the little girl or the little boy inside of you. And I want to speak about that today because I really feel it to be very important for me to share with you the way that I've been healing and coping with all of any type of emotion, fear, anxiety, or stress, or anger. And I've found that I truly can't just think my way through certain things. There's certain things that you can't think your way through where you just tell yourself like, yes, I'm gonna be okay, I'm gonna be okay. But there's some things that you truly can't. And that's what starts getting, like, it starts making you feel like down and that you're not doing enough and that you feel like literally it's gonna be like this forever type of feel. So the two things that have helped me so much is EMDR therapy and energy healing therapy. In this video, I will talk about the EMDR therapy and how it's helped me. I honestly, it's just been so amazing. I'm actually gonna go back to school next year and start the process of becoming an EMDR therapist, certified and all, because it is so life-changing. It turns traumas that you have and it helps your brain process the traumas. So there was a long time, obviously one of my biggest triggers was a diagnosis that I had 4 years ago. And when I couldn't be around people that would talk about health, that would talk about anything that was going on with them. I literally would flip. I would have anxiety, and I work with, the public. And so when clients of mine would start talking about their sick grandpa or how their roommate just had a heart attack or how I would just soak all that in and I would absorb it, and then I'd feel like, oh my gosh, it's gonna happen to me, and I literally would freak out. I would avoid social situations so that I wouldn't hear people talking about health and stuff like that. And I started isolating myself from people because I couldn't hear it. Like, it was just such a huge trigger. I couldn't think my way out of that. I couldn't be like, Wendy, this isn't happening to you. It's just a story. This is literally like, even movies, stories, words, just certain words that people would use, like death and heart attack and stroke and, like severity, like just words would literally trigger me. It would go in my brain and I'd just be like, oh my gosh, like all this stuff. And there was no amount of knowledge that I could know in order for me to help myself. And people could be like, you're fine, like, oh, it won't happen to you, or it's not, we're not talking about you. I just could not move past it. And then I started, punishing myself and blaming myself. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why can't you just like be normal and not have these things like truly get to you? Like, you're stronger than this. Like, why are you doing this? And really, truly just, putting myself down because I honestly thought that I was just super hypersensitive, that I literally just had to let go of the past, like what is going on with me. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I am a firm example that some things you can't think your way out of. You can't. Because of the fact that your brain in a traumatic point in your life, literally it will stop. Some different things can happen. It will either stop during the time that like the traumatic thing happened, and literally you will not move past it. Literally everything, every single day from then, like you're literally just living in your past. Or you literally just stay there. You stay there and never actually live in the moment, and literally just are wired to think that this is who you are, this is what you do, and this is why you do it, And so what EMDR has done for me is that it processed my trauma. I am now talking to a public about my diagnosis, about the old me, the past, the sickly, I'm saying all these words and I don't feel triggered. It is so calming and peaceful and harmonious to be able to go out in the world and talk about anything and not feel like I have anxiety, because the thing is, you can't control what people say. I literally would get mad at my boyfriend and be like, you can't say that to me. Don't say that to me. Don't say this. Don't say that. Like, controlling little things because I'm like, that's gonna trigger me. Like, like obviously there's like a certain amount, like, yeah, like some things like don't talk to me that way or this and that. But at the end of the day, you're gonna go out in public, especially with my clients. I couldn't be like, shut the fuck up. You can't say that. Like, don't talk to me about death. Like, duh. Like, you can, but every single freaking person, like, you can't avoid that, And so why not work within yourself so that those triggers aren't so huge and will literally just, like tear you up. And so EMDR. So I have this lady. If you're interested, please give me a comment below and I will definitely get your information, and then I'll send you her information and it will be a whole thing. If not, you can always go onto the Grandview Family Counseling website, and you can find your own therapist. You don't have to go to the one that I specifically go to. I highly recommend her because she literally helped me and I love her so much. I'm going to share with you because I know that EMDR could, like, it sounds a little bit scary. It sounds like, what are they doing to my head? Like, what's going on? So there's so many different ways that therapists can go about it. The ways that have helped me, that my therapist did for me, was that I hold on to two vibrators, right? Two little like machine vibrators. And so they go off, they'll vibrate here, vibrate here, vibrate here, vibrate here. It's not hard at all. You just hold it. And you're talking to her. So therapy that you're just like talk is super, super great. But like I said, when you just keep talking about the past and you're literally not processing anything because your brain literally just can't do it, then you just like keep talking and talking and talking and talking, but really nothing is getting done. I guess I'm more about like fast pace, like what's gonna get me fixed faster. Like, I'm not gonna sit here for years and years talking about the same shit. Like, what is gonna help me process? I'll do anything. And I'm the type of like get shit done type of thing, And so when I'm sitting here doing this, what she has done is, for me, it helps because I've been meditating for a long time. And so myself, I can get myself into a place where I don't even feel like I'm in the room anymore. So I'll close my eyes and she'll start talking to me about, like, she'll ask me, like, what do you want to work on today? What's the biggest trigger? How was your week? How was your month? How was whatever? So I'll start talking to her about it. And as soon as I start, like, and I allow myself to do this, I allow it to happen, because if I hold back, then there's just really no way to process it, right? So when I first went, I spoke to her about my diagnosis and how triggering the words were and everything like that. So we'll just use that example. And so I was sitting there, she said, close your eyes, imagine that moment that you're at the hospital, people around you, doctors were around you. And I then that's when it would start triggering me, right? I started crying. And so she turned on the buzzers, buzz, 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 buzz. And then what she had me do, she would put her fingers up and then she'd move one eye, like this, right? So what you do when you sleep, it's like called REM sleep, and you close your eyes, right? And your eyes move back and forth, usually, so that you can process the day, you can process what had gone on. When you're in a traumatic state, literally that doesn't become processed. Either there's a glitch and you just like go over it as in like nothing happened, or like you just don't process that, right? And so what the eye movement does, it helps you and your brain associate you processing it forcefully, but in a good way, you know, just helping you through that, supporting that process. And so for me, it works for both. So I'm doing this so my body's actually feeling like there's a process, right? And then there's eye movement where I can actually feel it, and I'm crying, and then I'll take a breath, and then something else will come up. And your brain is so amazing, because from one thing, it will link to another thing, to link to another thing, link to another thing. So you're there for like an hour processing all these things. Yes, you do feel the intensity of the pain. Yes, it's hard. Yes, you will cry. Yes, all of those things. But like I keep saying, I am an example that this shit works, because I just sat here and told you my process of everything, and I will be dead ass honest with you, I did not feel triggered. I didn't. And I just feel so at peace with what is going on and how I felt and everything like that. And so I've been doing this, I've been working with her, I would say close to 2 years now. And she's been very, 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 very helpful. So she helps me with that, right? Processing. The energy healer helps me energetically. And then I go to a chiropractor that helps me physically with my spine, with adjusting and with supplements and, you know, detoxing and all that stuff. So your whole well-being is honestly, you know, a lot more than just your physical body. If you focus just on your physical body, you stop thinking about your emotional, you know, you stop thinking about spiritual and all of these different things. And so it's a whole thing. It honestly is just, you're a whole being. So working on one part doesn't fix the whole, you know. So that's what EMDR does. I'm going to share with you a couple of the things that like truly have helped me understand, and it gave me kind of a way to start thinking about things differently and having more compassion for myself. And that's why inner child is so important. I was first introduced with inner child, just the thought, when I went to my chiropractor, having anxiety for probably like 3 or 4 days, like a full body like anxiety. I literally couldn't stop, and I couldn't think my way out of it, right? I couldn't be like, Wendy, chill the fuck out, like you're fine. Like there was no way of calming down, and I started beating myself about it, like, why are you doing this? Like you already know all these things, like you're eating healthy. Like I just like kept trying to figure out why this was happening, right? I went to my chiropractor, and the chiropractor also does energy healing, but I like to kind of do a combination of all three because it just helps me and it makes me feel really good. So the chiropractor, I went into the office and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I literally can't control the fact that I feel anxious and anxiety and all this stuff. And so they sat with me, and I was sitting there and they were doing their thing, you know, helping me out. And one of the things that came up was, can little Wendy trust that, so it was about my mom, right? And my mom and my dad split up when I was 4 years old. I don't have a relationship with my mom, and I have a relationship with my dad, but building boundaries is where I'm at right now with him. So my mom came up in the session, and it was, can you imagine yourself as a little girl? This is what he was saying. Can you imagine yourself as a little girl and have your mom literally like put her arms around you and nurture you and take care of you? And I sat there and I was like, no. That doesn't seem comforting to me. It doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like there's nothing. There's no comfort there, right? And so he's like, okay. He's like, let me think. Can you imagine yourself right now as who you are right now, giving little Wendy a hug? And I literally just started bawling, because knowing myself, I would do anything, and I am doing everything to keep little Wendy safe and feeling nurtured and feeling loved and feeling everything. When beings that are meant to be put there in your life to show you love and compassion and care, don't love and show compassion to themselves, they literally are empty in that sense where it's hard for them to do that, or in a way of fulfillment for the child, in my opinion. And so being who you are right now and imagining yourself just as like for me, I always go to like 3 or 4 year olds, and I think that that's where like the traumatic, happened with my parents splitting and everything. But 3 or 4 years old, I see her, little Wendy, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you're so cute, and don't worry, like I'm here for you, everything is fine, like, and so that's where inner child comes in, because as an adult, you're just like, I'm an adult, I should know, like I should have my shit together, I should know right and wrong, like I should literally make no errors, I should pay my bills, I should blah blah blah, I should, like, but as a kid, as a 3 or 4 year old like child, if they make the same errors that you make now, you would be a lot more willing to forgive them. Be like, don't worry about it, like you'll be fine, it's okay, we can clean up this mess, don't worry. Like how much more compassionate would you be to a little kid than to a 50-year-old person or a 40-year-old person or just a grown-ass person, right? Because you age with the amount of maturity that should be in a person. You just expect that, right? And like I've said, EMDR helps with trauma therapy, so you can have a 65-year-old that literally is stuck in a 7-year-old mindset and still reacts in that way. They talk and walk like an adult, but they have triggering words in their mind that literally will put them back there at any given moment. And there's truly nothing that they can think their way out of it. If they can, that is glorious. But if they live 65 years still reacting to the same thing, that means they physically couldn't think their way through that. Where now it's a trauma that they have to work through a professional EMDR therapist that knows what the fuck they're doing, right? And so that's where I'm gonna leave off this video. But in my next video, please follow it. I will share with you just some examples of EMDR that have truly helped me, and give you a little bit more piece of what inner child is, and exactly how I feel like I have to be reminded daily to take care of my inner child and to make sure that she's okay, and then I'm listening to little Wendy, Always remember, you are unconditionally loved, unconditionally valued, and unconditionally enough by just being you. I love you so much, and so it is. Take care, guys.